The world loves a free man, not because it respects him, but because it can use him. That's the ugly truth that many people spend their whole lives trying to avoid. We were raised to believe that kindness alone would protect us. We were taught that if we gave enough of ourselves, people would appreciate us, honor us, and stand beside us when life became difficult. But many of us learned the hard way that the world often rewards boundaries more than sacrifice. Too many people have turned themselves into emotional gas stations for everybody else. They give away their energy 24 hours a day while receiving almost nothing in return. They answer every call, fix every problem, calm every storm, and rescue every drowning person around them. Yet, when they finally need help, the room becomes silent. Some people who consume their kindness suddenly disappear like smoke in the wind. Human relationships are often ruled by the same laws that control money, business, and power. Scarcity creates value. Easy access destroys it. When something is always available, people stop appreciating it. That's why many good-hearted people are emotionally exhausted today. They made themselves too accessible to people who never earned that level of access. The painful part is that society trains people to become cheap versions of themselves. Many are taught to avoid conflict at all costs. They are told to smile through disrespect, tolerate betrayal, and stay available even when they are mentally drained. The result is a generation of people who feel invisible while carrying everyone else on their backs. There comes a moment when a person must finally ask themselves a serious question. Am I respected, or am I simply convenient? Because there's a major difference between someone loving your presence and someone loving your usefulness. One feeds your spirit, the other drains your soul until there's nothing left but resentment and emotional fatigue. Most people never realize that overexposure kills respect. When people know they can always reach you, always count on you, and always pull emotional resources from you without limits, they stop seeing you as valuable. You become expected instead of appreciated. This happens every single day in friendships, relationships, workplaces, and even families. The dependable person slowly becomes invisible because everybody assumes they will always be there no matter how poorly they are treated. The moment a person becomes predictable in their sacrifice, they become easy to exploit. That is why some people can disappear for weeks and suddenly everybody notices their absence. Meanwhile, the loyal person who stays available every day is overlooked like furniture in the room. Human psychology often responds more strongly to loss than presence. People notice what is missing faster than they appreciate what is constantly available. Too many people are walking around emotionally bankrupt because they never learned how to say no. Every request becomes an obligation. Every emotional burden becomes their responsibility. Every crisis becomes their emergency. Meanwhile, Nobody asks whether they are okay. This is why boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are survival. A person without boundaries becomes public property. Once people realize they can access you whenever they want, they stop respecting your time, your peace, and your emotional limits. There's power in silence. There's power in distance. There's power in learning how to pull your energy back from people who only call when they need something. Some people are terrified of becoming less available because they fear losing attention. But attention is not the same thing as respect. Many people receive attention only because they're useful, not because they're valued. The moment you stop over-explaining yourself, people begin to study you differently. The moment you stop begging to be understood, people begin paying closer attention. The moment you stop chasing validation, you discover who actually values your presence. This does not mean that you have to become cruel or heartless. It means understanding that your peace has a price. Your emotional energy has a price. Your attention has a price. And if you hand these things out freely to everyone, eventually you'll wake up emotionally empty. Silence always protects your power. Too many people tell everybody their plans before they accomplish anything. They expose every emotional wound online. They explain themselves to people who never intended to understand them in the first place. The more you expose every detail of your life, the easier it becomes for others to manipulate your emotions. Not everybody deserves unlimited access to your thoughts. Not everybody deserves front row seats to your struggles. Some people are not listeners. They are collectors of information. They study your weaknesses so they can use them later when it benefits them. One of the greatest forms of power is emotional discipline. Weak people react to everything. Strong people choose carefully where their emotions will go. Today, many people are emotionally controlled by strangers. A single insult online ruins their entire day. One disagreement sends them into emotional chaos. One rejection makes them question their entire worth. But emotional control changes everything. When you stop reacting to every little provocation, manipulative people lose power over you. Some individuals feed on emotional reactions. They want access to your anger, your sadness, your frustration, and your insecurity. Once you stop feeding them emotionally, they become powerless. Calmness unsettles chaotic people. Silence frustrates manipulative people. Emotional discipline confuses toxic people because they can no longer predict your reactions. This is why every person must learn how to guard their emotional state. Not everybody deserves emotional access to you. Not everybody deserves a reaction from you. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. The world teaches people to become emotionally available to everyone while mentally collapsing inside. That's why so many people feel drained. They're carrying emotional responsibilities that were never theirs to begin with. One of the biggest reasons people tolerate disrespect is fear of being alone. Many stay in toxic relationships, toxic friendships, and toxic environments because they're terrified of isolation. But there's something worse than loneliness. It's losing yourself while surrounded by people who do not value you. A person who cannot walk away becomes easy to control. The moment someone realizes you are emotionally dependent on them, your negotiating power disappears. This is why emotional independence matters so much. You must build a life that does not collapse because one person leaves. You must build confidence that is not tied to constant validation. You must become mentally strong enough to choose peace over desperate attachment. The truth is painful. Some people only respect you after you stop chasing them. Some only notice your value after your absence creates discomfort in their life. That is a dark reality many people never want to admit. If you constantly tolerate low standards because you fear losing people, eventually you lose yourself. And once self-respect disappears, everything else begins collapsing behind it. The moment you raise your standards, some people will accuse you of changing. They will call you difficult, arrogant, selfish, or distant. But what they're really upset about is losing easy access to your energy. People become uncomfortable when they can no longer manipulate your kindness. They become frustrated when your time is no longer free. They become angry when your emotional labor is no longer available on demand. But every person has the right to protect their peace. Every person has the right to say no without guilt. Every person has the right to walk away from environments that constantly drain them. High standards expose low intentions. The moment you demand respect, fake loyalty begins disappearing. The moment you stop accepting crumbs, the people who only offered crumbs become offended. This is why growth often feels lonely in the beginning. When you stop being easy to use, many people naturally fall away. But that separation is necessary. Everybody cannot go with you into your next season of life. If you constantly insult yourself, people will join in. If you constantly lower your standards, people will step over them. If you constantly make yourself emotionally cheap, people will consume your energy without guilt. The relationship you have with yourself teaches the world how to treat you. That means self-respect must become non-negotiable. Your peace matters. Your health matters. Your rest matters. Your dignity matters. Your emotional stability matters. Too many people destroy themselves trying to prove their worth to people who already decided to undervalue them. That battle never ends well. There comes a time when every person must close the emotional store. No more free samples. No more unlimited access. No more begging for appreciation from people who only value convenience. The world is a marketplace of energy, attention, and power. If you give yourself away freely, people will treat you like something cheap. But when you protect your peace, raise your standards, and stop tolerating disrespect, everything changes. You begin walking differently, speaking differently, thinking differently. You stop begging to be chosen because you finally understand your own value. And once you truly understand your value, you stop allowing the world to bargain for your soul. You find yourself more energized, with more time for yourself, and with more peace once the leeches have fallen off and out of your life. Trust me, it's the closest thing to heaven on earth. Think about it. Ponder my words. I live like this, and it's done so much for me. I understand my value, and I don't come cheap. I used to give myself away a whole lot, thinking I was being nice. But like the words in this piece said, after a while, you find yourself drained with nobody in sight. I could never go back to that. And you should never live like that or go back to that either. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment, share your perspectives in the comments section, and I will reply. Much love to you all. On to the next one. Scurv out. Peace.